right. You know what that theme song means. That's right. It's another episode of the Senator Omer Rains Show. We invite you to listen to us at 1180 AM KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast radio station, as well as around the world on americamatters.us. The creator and the host of the show invite you to come join us here at the Reno Town Mall, get in the audience, or get behind the microphone. You can also text in questions to our chief engineer, Craig Moss, at 775-237-2266. But if you would like to speak with Senator Omer Rains or his guests, that number is 844-790-TALK. Again, it's 844-790-8255. Without further ado, let's get to the creator and host of the Senator Omer Rains Show, Senator Omer Rains.
Hey, Eddie, my friend. I'm here in the bluegrass country of Kentucky, ready for tomorrow's running of the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. It's been a great trip, and we've been all over the East Coast on our way here, a very roundabout way. But I'm happy to be on the phone with you folks on this day, the day before the Derby itself.
Well, Omer, how is it that your travels took you to Kentucky today?
Well, number one, I have been to virtually every major sporting event in America. I've been to 2 Winter Olympics. I've been to 2 Summer Olympics, some of them overseas, some of them domestic. I've been to the Super Bowl, the NBA championships. I've been to NCAA playoffs. I've been to Major League World Series games, Indianapolis 500. I can go on and on. And I've been to 2 legs of the Triple Crown, the Belmont in New York and the Preakness in Baltimore. But I've never been to the 3rd leg of the Triple Crown, the first one each year, first Saturday in May, and that's the Kentucky Derby. And that's why we are here. But while here, we decided to come along a roundabout way and touch a number of other bases to see other members of the family and friends along the way.
So I understand that you've been to several other places like Tampa, Asheville, and now in Kentucky. What have you done during your travels this past couple of weeks?
Well, Leslie and I flew into Tampa first because my son and his wife are both professors at the University of South Florida. In fact, my son is the chair and dean of the School of Geosciences, which encompasses hydrology and geology and biology and anthropology and botany and anyway, 6 different sciences there at the university. And his wife is also a professor, and I've got these 2 incredible granddaughters. My head spins when I think about them. So the oldest of the 2, we watched her perform in her honors band and orchestra. She also, her team took 3rd place in the National Robotics competition. They're going to the International Robotics. And they've written, another entity with which he's involved has written their own musical, which has been honored. She has performed twice now at Carnegie Hall in New York City with a choral group. I mean, an amazing, amazing, amazing young woman. And then the younger one has a gift for dance that astonishes me. And she's it's called the All-American Dance Team, and both classical ballet as well as popular dance. And she's been invited to attend the Bolshoi Ballet School, and she's only 14. These are 2 remarkable young women. So anyway, that took us to Tampa because we decided if we're going to the Bluegrass Company and the Kentucky Derby, we'll just go there. And from there, we by car, we began to drive. We went up to through Georgia to Charleston, South Carolina, for all the historic reasons, among others. Of course, that's where Fort Sumter is, where the Civil War actually was started, and it's one of the most historic towns in all of America for all kinds of reasons, and classic architecture. And anyway, an amazing place to visit. And from there, we went over to Asheville, North Carolina, because we got another, Leslie's daughter, Autumn, she performs popular music in different places in and around Asheville, but she's also a member of the Brevard Symphony. because she went to Oberlin in Ohio. She has a bachelor's and a master's in musicology, and she's an incredible musician. And so anyway, we went to the symphony there, and while in Asheville, we went out to the Vanderbilt Estate, also known, in fact, better known as the Biltmore, America's largest home. The North Carolina Arboretum and so many other things in and around Asheville. It's a remarkable place, again, an amazing city. And from there we came on up into the bluegrass country. And while here, we've done some amazing things. We went to Ashford Coolmore, which is a famous farm, and we saw the recent Triple Crown winner, American Pharaoh. Spent a lot of time with American Pharaoh, actually. I was very surprised that they, allowed people to, we had a small group, just a few of us, but allowed people to get out, get right to him and pet him and kind of play with him a bit. And we went also to TaylorMade Farms, where California Chrome now is in stud. And we went to Gainesway, where Tappet, which is the best sire right now in the world. They charge $300,000 when he covers a mare each time. And of course, Claiborne Farm, which has run for over 100 years and produced more Derby winners and other states winners than any other farm. And that's where Citation and Secretariat are buried, and a number of other of the greats. So anyway, we've really been busy. We've had an amazing trip, and we're staying at a B&B, a place called Black Ridge Hall, and my old Kentucky home and the Bluegrass Heritage area, and I don't know what else to say.
All right. Well, after we take our break here, why don't we come back and talk about the race itself? What you're thinking the weather conditions might be like, and who may you be choosing to pick on the weather or on the Derby itself? So we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
In today's economy, it's more important than ever to take care of your money. Proper wealth management strategies are essential to help you achieve your retirement income goals. The talented wealth specialists at Sierra Financial Advisors will focus on developing smart, innovative strategies to help you to protect and grow your nest egg. Katie Coombs has been a financial advisor for 16 years and specializes in estate planning, investment planning, retirement planning, education planning, and insurance planning. Katie and her team at Sierra Financial Advisors will focus on cultivating a long-term relationship with you to develop and implement smart wealth building strategies so you can handle whatever life throws at you. To make an appointment for your no-cost consultation, please call Katie Coombs at Sierra Financial Advisors at 775-885-8847 or find us online at sfallc.com. Securities offered through First Global Capital Corp. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through First Global Advisors Inc. Insurance services offered through Sierra Financial Advisors. Sierra Financial Advisors and First Global Capital Corp. are unaffiliated entities.
Hi, I'm Pascal from Safelight. My customer's daughter was driving when a rock flew up and chipped her windshield. They wanted it repaired right before it could crack, so they scheduled online at safelight.com. Safelight's repair resin fills the chip's tiniest micro cracks. No other resin lasts longer or stays stronger. There's even a national lifetime warranty. Plus, thanks to his insurance, a Safelight repair was no cost to him.
Really?
Call or schedule online.
Safelight Repair, Safelight Replace.
Are you planning to move? Paragon Real Estate Resources can help you sell or buy a home anywhere in the United States. We provide a home resources coordinator to manage all aspects of your move. We recommend qualified real estate agents and other services to prepare your home for sale. Best of all, if you sell or buy a home with our assistance, you could be eligible to receive a tax-free real estate commission cash rebate. We can also help you obtain a mortgage at competitive interest rates. Our lenders offer fixed and adjustable rates, conforming and non-conforming loans, plus FHA and VA financing. We can also assist first-time buyers with as little as 5% down. And when it comes time to move, we can refer you to qualified movers or other companies to assist with self-moves. Paragon Real Estate Resources helps make moving as easy as possible. Call Paragon Real Estate Resources now at 1-800-235-7513 to learn more or visit ParagonRERI.com.
So you think all auto glass companies are the same? Well, they're not. When your windshield needs to be replaced, nobody makes it as worry-free as Safelite. First, Safelite emails a photo of the technician, so you know who to expect and how soon.
Right on time.
Safelite's one-of-a-kind True Seal technology places a new glass in perfect position for a strong, reliable bond you can trust.
Oh, that looks great.
You're all set?
Thank you so much.
Schedule now to get the Safelite Advantage.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Welcome back to the Omer Rains Show. Today, Omer is in Kentucky at the going to be at the running of the Kentucky Derby tomorrow, and he's touring around the eastern side of our great United States. Omer, when does the race, the Derby itself, actually take place? What time? What time tomorrow?
Well, as you know, there's a full day of racing at Churchill Downs, so we'll be going in literally around 8:45, 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, so earlier than most people on the West Coast will actually be awake, or about the time they may awaken. And there will be a number of races throughout the day, but everyone's awaiting the Derby itself, which is one of the races, and the big race. And that will probably take place around 3 o'clock Eastern Time, around 6 o'clock Western Time. And or forgive me, I just reversed that. No, it'll take place around 3:15 West Coast time, because it'll be close to 6 when it's run here. And we're hoping for good weather, because it's been raining today, and it did yesterday as well. So you never know. Sometimes you have a muddy track, sometimes you don't. If the track's muddy, it makes a big difference as far as the horses are concerned, the betting is concerned. And so we'll wait and see. It is what it is, and you go with the weather.
And my understanding from one of our other show hosts who works with the horses, bets on the horses quite a bit, he says there are some horses that prefer muddy tracks, so it would be very advantageous to them to have a very wet track.
Oh, that's true. And you may remember when American Pharaoh in 2015 won the Triple Crown. I think it was the Preakness, one of those races, he was in mud. And one of the great things about his performance in winning the Triple Crown is that he raced on different types of tracks, and he excelled on each type of surface, and not many horses can do that.
Well, you're traveling with a couple of beautiful ladies. Do they have their hats yet? Have they got their derby hats?
They do indeed. Leslie had hers shipped because there was no way to pack it without crushing it. It's very large. It's a typical Kentucky Derby hat. My daughter Jessica actually drove down from Manhattan, New York City, where she lives, and so she carried it in a car. And so they are ready to go. And we're going to have mint juleps in hand, hats on, and everybody dressed to the hilt, and hopefully enjoy the ritual and the regalia of the Kentucky Derby.
Very cool. Now, when you return, I'm sure you'll be giving us a detailed description of how the event went for you. Now, what are your plans for, as we call it, game day tomorrow? You said you're going to be getting there relatively early. Are you going to be doing any wagering on the Derby itself, or?
Oh, I suspect so. I'm not a big gambler type, but when I do game, it's on sporting events, because I am a sports trivia buff, no doubt about it. So yeah, I'll be placing some bets, hopefully mainly with the head, but some of it with the heart.
All right. So you've already talked about this Derby winner from 2014, and that was California Chrome. Who else are your favorite horses from the past that have raced there at the Kentucky Derby?
Well, without question, I think the greatest horse ever probably was Secretariat. And, we went to where he is buried at Claiborne. And, in fact, they've got a cemetery of champions, and it's just an amazing spectacle when you look at the names of those famous horses. But, we all love Seabiscuit. We've read the book, we've seen the movie. I mean, it was a good feel story. True story. Actually, although identified with California, he was actually born in Kentucky, but he wasn't performing well. He didn't have the pedigree that some had. He was small, and he ended up being purchased by a California man, and the rest is history, a remarkable history. But I think there are some wonderful horses. Tomorrow may be the most wide-open Derby we've seen in recent times. I mean, it's really wide open. I have a friend of a friend, if you will, who is the trainer of Classic Empire, and also that's the Cassies, Norm and Mark Cassie, and the owner John Oxley. He may be the most talented horse in the race. He'll probably go off as one of the favorites. Right now, he's probably ranked number one, but I have a suspicion he may not end up number one ranked. But he is a good horse, and if he gets off right and doesn't encounter too much traffic, he could be the winner. I think another one that people should be watching for is Irish War Cry. He has the speed to be on the lead, or he can stalk. He drew a great post position for whichever tactic he has. And I think that the odds on Irish War Cry will be fairly short by the time it starts. But there will be some good field horses out there, too. I mean, I don't think... there's a horse called Patch. It's a very cool story. He has only one eye. He had a bad virus, I think it was about a year and a half ago. They had to remove one of his eyes. So his post position's on the far outside with his blind eye on the inside towards the other 19 horses. He's a very talented horse with a lot of distance when you look at his pedigree. I don't think, given those handicaps or impediments, though, that he can get through the path of resistance all the way. I don't think so, but it's a great story. And then there's Gunnevera, who's trained by a Venezuelan trailer who was renowned in Latin America, but he was kidnapped and held for 38 days by gunpoint and tortured for ransom. You know, not an unlikely event in Venezuela if you're a person considered to be of means. Ultimately, for a lot of money, which pretty much bankrupted his family, he was released. He came to America, and now he's got a horse, Gunnevera. I don't think he'll win, but he's a deep closer, and he has been running well. So, again, that's a real feel-good story if he does come through. So, you know, there are a lot of good horses, though. I mean, this is a wide-open field. The Classic Empire has another sire in the race. And I think what's Always Dreaming, as I recall, is the name. And these are all horses that have a good chance of winning. So much of it depends upon where they draw their post. And, you know, if you're in the 4, 5, 6, 7 area, you really are well placed. And some horses run well from the outside, some from the inside. Depends on the type of horse, whether it's a speed horse or not. But obviously, the further out you start, the more ground you have to make up.
Well, looking at the odds right now and their positions, gate number 1 is Looking at Lee.
Yes.
Looks like current odds as of today, 25-1. Thunder Snow, 18-1 in gate number 2. Gate number 3, Fast and Accurate, is 34-1. Untrapped, 67-1 in gate number 4. Always Dreaming is now 4-1.
Yeah.
In the 5th position. State of Honor, 54-1 in the 6th. Gervin 181 is 15-1 in 7, and 8th position is also 15-1, and that's Hence. Irip is 42-1 in gate number 9. Gunvera is 9-1 in gate 10. Battle of Midway is currently 42-1. Excuse me, 42-1. Sonneteer is 40-1 in 12. Gate number 13, J-Boy's Echo is 25-1. Classic Empire, gate number 14 is 6-1. McCracken, I wonder if that has anything to do with any of the Jack Sparrow Pirates of the Caribbean movies. 15, Gate 15 is 5-1. Taprit, which is in Gate 16, is 35-1. Irish War, as you were talking about before, is currently 6-1, and that hasn't changed. Probably the only one that hasn't changed over the past day, or a couple of them haven't changed, but that's the most notable. Gormley, Gate number 18, is 25-1. Practical Joke is 33-1 in Gate number 19, and as you said, Patch is actually doing pretty good at 15-1 in Gate number 20, and the far outside.
I have a feeling that Patch is really going to run well in the Belmont, which is the longest of the three in the Triple Crown. That's 1.5 miles. These horses have never run even the distance of Tomorrow, which is 1.25 miles. Then the Preakness is 1 3/16. But when you look at the bloodline, Patch has one that suggests he can really run a long way, and he'll be a fast closer. Again, he's at a disadvantage with that one eye that's... He's aptly named. They actually had his name before the eye was removed. His name is Patch. But I'm not surprised. I guess I'm a little bit surprised that Always Dreaming is now ranked slightly better than Classic Empire. But I think Classic Empire and Irish War Cry and Always Dreaming are the ones I would watch for. I know that Gervin missed a few days of training this past week, and that's not what you want going into the Derby. But he's an honest horse, and he's one to watch for.
Right. Well, Omer, I know you have to get back with your family and on the tour. So in the second half hour of your show today, we're going to go to one of your encore presentations from one of your first shows, and that was with Jack O'Connell back from August 3rd. We'd like to hear more about the Kentucky Derby when you come back to Reno after your trip, and we look forward to finding out if you were able to place any bets on winners, and get that parlay card, or get it to work and come up with some good currency.
I read that the superfecta, if you hit it, the odds are 116,280 to 1.
Hey, so, put $5 down on it, and you there's a new house.
Right. But anyway, for listeners, listen to Jack O'Connell. He used to be on my staff, and then later went to the State Assembly, then to the State Senate, and then he was Superintendent of Public Education for California. Now he's talking about education throughout the nation. He's great. Bye.
At Safe Flight, we know how busy life can be. These kids were headed to their first dance recital when their windshield got cracked, but they couldn't miss the show. So Dad went to the new SafeFlight.com, and in just a few clicks, he scheduled a replacement before the girls even took the stage. SafeFlight.com is the fast, easy way to schedule service anywhere in America, so you don't have to miss a thing.
Hey, y'all did wonderful.
That's another Safe Flight advantage.
Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace.
Do you need high-quality estate planning and family law services? I'm Reno attorney Todd Torvinen. I practice in the areas of estate planning, probate, family law, and divorce taxation. I'm also experienced in probate and family law litigator and believe that prevailing in any litigation requires diligent, methodical preparation. As a certified estate planning law specialist and certified public accountant, I'm singularly qualified to analyze the financial aspects of marital, family assets, or a decedent's estate. A large part of my practice is done in real time. It means that preparation of estate planning and family law documents occurs with the client present, and they're reviewed with the client at the time the client is there. Your documents are examined line by line and explained to you, then modified based upon your input. This client-focused approach leverages the current technology and enhances the attorney-client communication and relationship. The idea is to produce a better product. Please call me at 775-825-6066 to schedule an appointment today. Again, 775-825-6066.
Call Sursic Dental because you're worth it. They can make your smile perfect. You're gonna love your new smile. Sursic Dental for a perfect smile.
Sursic Dental has a $125 special that includes a cleaning, x-rays, a free Sonicare toothbrush, and a free cosmetic makeover consultation.
Sursic Dental for a perfect
Call 827-1113.
This is Rick Parr, Director of Sales and host of Talking Sports on America Matters Media. Listen up. We are looking for some good people to sell advertising with us. America Matters Media is our area's community radio network based right here in Reno and heard all over the world with excellent programming throughout the week. If you have sales experience or a great personality with positive attitude and can communicate well, call us at 775-827-8900. We'll train you on how to get the deal done. You'll earn money immediately on every sale you make and on every renewal. The facts are that every business needs help getting the word out about their products and services, and radio ads help them do just that by letting our listeners know where to go to get the best deals in town. We want you to help us bring our clients and listeners together with advertising sales. Call now, 775-827-8900. That's America Matters Media, 827-8900.
Have you been dreaming of owning your own home? Did you know that you could qualify for a 5% non-repayable grant to assist with your down payment and closing costs? I'm Doug Caller from Academy Mortgage and co-host of the All Things Home radio show. If the inability to save for down payment has been keeping you from realizing your dream, join us on Saturday, May 13th from 8:45 to 10:15 for our Home at Last Down Payment Assistance Workshop at the America Matters Media Studio in the Reno Town Mall. Nevada Rural Housing Authority Director of Home Buyer Services, Diane Arvizo, will show you how easy it is to qualify for a 5% Home at Last non-repayable grant and make 2017 the year you start living your dream of being a homeowner. For more information, call Doug Caller at 775-828-7006. We're making dreams come true. Academy Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 312085, corporate NMLS 3113.
Well, you certainly know what that theme song means. That's right. The most rapidly moving in the polls radio talk show for America Matters Media, heard on 1180 AM, a Lotus broadcast radio station in northern Nevada and northern California, and also heard all around the world on americamatters.us. The live version, like right now, and I'm talking about Wednesday afternoon at 4:30, and then tomorrow morning, that will be Friday morning at 4:30 a.m. The recorded version of this show will air again, which is also 7:30 prime drive time on the East Coast. This popular show always has most phenomenal guests that have such an impact on our great nation, if not the world, and I'm sure that today is no different. This is the Senator Omer Rains show. So without further ado, let's get to the creator and the host of the Senator Omer Rains show, Senator Omer Rains.
Thank you, Ed. Hello, folks. I'm Omer Rains, welcoming you to American Matters Media. And as Ed just pointed out, we broadcast this program to the world not only in English, but by way of translation in various other languages of the world as well. This program is intended to be rather eclectic in nature. It's not going to ever focus solely on one topic or subject matter, but the one thing that we do promise is that whatever the topic, whomever the guest, we encourage diverse points of view. We welcome comments or questions from the listening audience. The call-in number is 844-790-8255. Or if you wish to text us your comment or question, that number is 775-237-2266. Okay, with that in mind, I want to introduce today's guest. His name is Jack O'Connell. Jack O'Connell is a person who has decades of public service. Although he was trained as a teacher, instructing government and history at a high school in Oxnard, Ventura County, California, there came a point in time when he assumed the position of Santa Barbara County Coordinator for a state senator. He thereafter had the opportunity to run for the California Assembly, where he served for 6 terms, and in fact was Speaker pro tem. Then he served in the California Senate for 2 terms. Remember, those Senate districts are much larger than congressional districts, much more important, really. And he authored a lot of landmark legislation. and eventually he ran for the nonpartisan job of Superintendent of Public Education in California, overseeing over 1,000 school districts.
Wow.
With a real emphasis on shrinking class sizes, on cementing higher achievement standards, helping close the racial achievement gap, and I can go on and on. Today, Jack O'Connell serves as a much-in-demand speaker and consultant throughout the country on all matters of education, but with special interest on and interest in preparing students for entry into a rapidly changing global economy. So, welcome, Jack.
Senator Rains, thank you very much. Always nice to be with you. I remember those days fondly in Ventura County teaching high school, and I can remember one particular evening class that you may not remember when you were representing the Central Coast in the California State Senate. You came through and talked to our students, and that, as much as anything, really motivated me way back when to follow in your footsteps and pursue a career in public service.
Wow.
So it's very nice to be with you.
You know, if you don't mind, one of the things that Senator Rains always does is personalize the show, Jack O'Connell, for us. Where were you born and educated, and what led you to the illustrious career in politics that you shared? And how'd you get that start, by the way?
Born in New York, Ed, and then, frankly, my dad was a huge Brooklyn Dodger baseball fan.
Amen.
So when the Dodgers left Brooklyn in 1958, my dad sold his business, and we ended up not far from the Dodger Stadium. So it kind of took the word fanatic to the extreme. And then I'm a graduate of the California public school system, right through the community college, CSU, Cal State Fullerton, Long Beach State, and then had an opportunity to run for the state assembly, as Senator Rains said, 1982, and very lucky and been successful, and it was a great run.
Well, listen, Jack, we've known each other for an awfully long time, over 40 years, so I think we can dispense with the titles of senator or superintendent and just be Jack and Omer. And by the way, Jack, we're not going to talk today about basketball and about the one time you luckily scored a basket against a member, as I recall, a noted member of the Los Angeles Lakers. I think you only demonstrated that if anyone shoots at the hoop long enough, eventually one may actually go in.
The story that Senator Rains is referencing is when I was at Oxnard High School, I guarded Jamal Wilkes, who, of course, as Omer said, went on to become a world champion with the Lakers, played with the San Francisco Warriors, and the true story is I held them to 44 points.
In the first quarter.
The first half.
Okay.
I tried to steal his tennis shoes at halftime. I thought maybe then it would have been fair.
Okay,
we become, acquaintances afterwards, and he's just as good off the court as he was on the court.
Well, he was came from a great family, Ventura family. His father was a pastor there, and anyway.
Correct.
We're going to focus today on education, though. And
I figured our time would be up.
I know you want to run out the clock on basketball, but I want to know, first of all, about the phrase achievement gap, because I've heard that so many times. Can you define that phrase for us and provide us with any possible strategies that are utilized to close the gap?
And we have till 5 a.m. to address the top. To me, when I was the elected state superintendent, I really tried to make that a focus, was close the achievement gap. And my definition is we would look at subgroups, and by that, a variety of subgroups. We looked at it based upon ethnicity, based upon socioeconomic status, students that brought special education needs to our schools, and then we tried to look at English language learners as well, and then we tried to see why is it that kids of color, kids who are learning the English language, kids from low socioeconomic backgrounds, our special ed kids, we're lagging behind primarily their Asian and Caucasian counterparts when we extrapolated the data. And so we tried to develop strategies to try to narrow that gap. And I have to say right up front, we know all kids can learn, and we know all students can learn to very high levels. But the reality is the starting line is not the same for all of our students. And so what services can we provide? How can we make sure that it's a more level playing field? I enjoyed listening to Bernie Sanders when he talked about, in society, it's not level and it's not fair for everyone. And we have issues of social justice we have to address. And we have that in education. And the reality is, and it's oftentimes people don't want to discuss it, but we do have an achievement gap. We need to address it. We need to admit it. We need to address it. And we need to have strategies so that we can make sure that these students with tremendous potential have a fair, legitimate, and better shot of success in this new economy.
Well, let me ask this then, Jack. I know that at least I think this is still true, that over 50% of the students in public schools in California, and I believe in Nevada as well, are of Hispanic or Latino ethnicity. Does this create language, and we have other minorities, but I take it from what you're saying, language difficulties are a major impairment or impediment to achieving well.
We do obviously many challenges. There are school districts in California. I'm thinking of LAUSD, over 100 different languages spoken. I know that well over, I think the last numbers I saw were about 40% of the kindergarten kids in California came to school every day just to learn the English language. And then when we give our statewide tests that are required, by the federal government under NCLB, when I was state superintendent, that's not the case today. There is no statewide test. We give the kids a test in English, and we want them to learn English. So it's going to present more challenges. But again, these are schools...
Jack, I need to interrupt you, and I'll tell you why. Mm-hmm. You use the expression NCLB. I assume that's in reference to No Child Left Behind, the George W. Bush Act of 2001. Is that correct? I know there was later, in 2015, wasn't there, what was it called, Every Student Succeeds Act?
Correct. And President Obama signed that in December of 2015. Absolutely correct, Omer. And that now supersedes what was NCLB. But and we're in much better position for it. I think this is better for our students, and I think it's better for our systems. We shouldn't have punitive measures imposed upon us from the federal government. Do we want to have some type of guidance? Yes. Goals? Yes. But not punitive punishment for schools. Okay. Many times these schools were making real improvements.
Jack, I need to interrupt you only because we, of necessity, take a commercial break. We were right back.
Okay. Pay the bills.
Let me tell you about a friend of mine, Jorge. He's the owner of Atomic Bootlegger Lounge inside Sierra Sid's Casino. I want to personally invite you to join us for Whiskey Wednesday, every third Wednesday of the month, featuring one of their high-quality, top-shelf spirits. It's Whiskey Wednesday. For just $10, you receive a welcome cocktail made by one of their rock star bartenders, a generous sample pour for tasting and access to an exclusive brand presentation. Every month, they donate a portion of the proceeds to the Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary. The Atomic Bootlegger Lounge, locally owned and operated, and care about our local community? Come on down and experience the bootlegger difference. The Atomic Bootlegger Lounge is located inside of Sierra Sid's Casino at 200 North McCarran, just off I-80. Please drink responsibly, and remember, at Bootlegger, we speak easy and glow home.
We're talking to Victor from Precision Diamonds. Victor, I don't know anything about jewelry at all. I don't know anything about diamonds. I need to get something for my lady.
Well, you know what, Jim? Come on in. We are your local jeweler, and we want to be your personal shopper. For 27 years, we know that we are doing business directly with the right manufacturers. We have negotiated great prices. They have the right trend, the right designs, quality, from earrings to pendants to you name it, we've got it.
That means you're going to help me from beginning to end.
My family, we've been working for this for a long time. I don't know how to change oil or anything, but I know diamonds. I know jewelry. So if you want to come in, you don't have to worry about anything. We'll find the exact gift that you're looking for that's going to make you look like $1 million, that you really took the time an effort to choose something, not just say, I'll take this. Your lady will know that you took the time and found a beautiful gift for her.
Thank you, Victor. Precision Diamonds, your local jeweler across from the convention center.
Did you know that Noble Pie Parlor has been voted best pizza in Northern Nevada 5 times? They make deliciously different pizzas with the freshest ingredients, like house-made meatballs and sausage, caramelized fennel and onion, and Granny Smith apples. Noble has excellent options for health-conscious pizza fans, too, including vegan and gluten-free, and they always buy the best local produce at places like our Great Basin Food Co-op. The award-winning Noble Pie Parlor has also been voted Best Wings and won the Wingfest Championship 3 times for their famous Pittsburgh-style wings. Noble Pie Parlor has a great weekend brunch, too. Check out the Cow's Omelet and build your own Bloody Mary. Noble even has a full bar with local beers and creative cocktails like the Gray Fox with homemade Earl Grey syrup. Noble also caters and delivers. They're located at 239 West 2nd Street next to the El Cortez Hotel. Call 775-622-9222. That's 622-9222. Or visit noblepieparlor.com.
Yes, we're talking to Jack O'Connell, and he is a master of education and has an incredible career of involvement and is so highly respected throughout the nation. Jack, it appears, even based on the discussion we had right before the break, that the federal government is more and more involved in education, K through 12. And number one, is that true? And if it is true, is there any chance that more at least decision-making will be returned to the local level?
Well, Omer, very good question. And clearly there was more federal involvement under the previous administration. The whole No Child Left Behind Act really preempted many of the state policies. And now with the ESSA, as it's called, Every Student Succeeds Act, that, as you pointed out earlier, President Obama signed into law in December of 15, it really does return more of the power, more of the authority to the states. And I think that's going to be healthy. It's the right strategy, right approach, and it's going to clearly give the states more authority.
Oh, very, very good, at least in my opinion. Now, we are broadcasting throughout the nation and abroad as well, but we broadcast out of Reno, Nevada. And Nevada K through 12 programs, as I'm sure you know, do not rank very high when it comes to comparisons with other states. In fact, that's an understatement. And I suspect there are many reasons for that. But tell me this, to the extent that changes occurring in California are important, and I think they are, because the engines that drive America usually come out of California, whatever the category. But to what extent are those changes important to a state like Nevada?
Well, I think they're very important, and many of the strategies that we can implement in California then can be replicated in Nevada and beyond. Our demographics are not that dissimilar between the two states. I know Nevada, like California, very mobile student population as well, and there's numerous studies. In fact, some out of UCSB, Santa Barbara, the Gewurz Center, and I know you were very close to the Don Gewurz, and it bears his name, and I know you've been there. But studies on the effects of student mobility, that when students attend 2 or 3 different schools a year, as many do in many of these states, because of the nomadic nature of employment, oftentimes farm workers, seasonal employment, that significantly adversely impacts the students. But now with our, standards statewide, what we call the Common Core standards, I'm hopeful that we'll be teaching these concepts more unilaterally across the state, across the country. When I first heard the concept of Common Core about 15 years ago, I was in Washington, D.C. All the other 49 states sent their state superintendents, and I was quite concerned because California has these world-class state standards, and I was going to defend them, take off my shoe and pound the table, and say California is not going to diminish our standards. And to the architects' credit of our standards, we didn't bring California down, nor some of the other states, Massachusetts, New York, some of the other. We brought states up to where we were.
Excellent.
And so it's much like funding in California. You remember the famous decision in the early 70s, Serrano.
I surely do.
And where we tried to level districts up in funding with standards, we're trying to bring everyone up. So it takes some adjustment. I think we're on the right track, and I think we'll be benefiting from that in the years to come.
Is the funding disparity between school districts in other states other than California, because of Serrano, it cannot happen so much in California, but is that really, really important?
It is important, and then it also varies from state to state in terms of how much money comes from perhaps it's local property taxes, where there's a cap in California, and you recall Prop 13, the property tax initiative, very well.
Yes.
I know in 1978, June, and then state contributions. Now, the state of California actually makes a pretty sizable investment in public education, but the locals do not, and the locals are restricted on this property tax initiative. So when the state's doing well, the school districts tend to do well. When the state's not doing well financially, it adversely impacts the school districts as well.
Well, now, Jack, I've read, and I'm really not that up to speed on it, that California's new public school history curriculum will reflect better the state's diversity. If that be the case, is that going to have a national impact, or can we yet answer that question?
I think it will have a national impact, Omer, and you are correct, and it has an impact in many ways. One is when you have nearly 15% of the students in your state, textbooks will be adopted, will be used. They're going to tailor them towards the big guy, on the puzzle here, towards California, so that those books can then be used and replicated in other states. Traditionally, historically, every state does not have its own unique history textbook. We like to have it. The best example I can give you, when I was superintendent a few years back, we were going to adopt mandatory algebra for 8th graders. And I received phone calls from my colleagues, other state superintendents around the country, asking if that was true. And then they wanted to begin to prepare strategies for their 8th grade teachers. Hey, how do we teach algebra? We have not been teaching this up to this point.
Wow. Jack, I know, and I've indicated already, that you had the responsibility of overseeing better than 1,000 school districts in the state of California. But I also read, and you got a lot of publicity for the fact that you, on average, attended personally over 200 schools a year. You were actually out in the field rather than sitting in a plush office in Sacramento. How important was that insofar as development of your own policy matters, your understanding of what the challenges were and how they ought best to be addressed?
And I never used the hot tub or the sauna or the spa in my office either. I thought it was, and I'm kidding, that was never existed. But no, I thought it was very important, and I got some very good ideas for education. People helped me frame arguments for education, and it's just those were really good ideas. And you know that from your days, in the legislature as well. You can receive so many good ideas, input from people on the ground, people, the implementers, the teachers, and I enjoy talking to students. Some of the best committee hearings we had when we would take them on the road, I believe they're called the interim hearings, and we oftentimes said we only want to hear from students. And I can remember one in Ventura, Omer. We were out at the big hotel in the marina. You've been there 100 times.
Yes.
And we had a legislative hearing, and it was students only, and it was on drugs. And I mean, to this day, I remember the students saying, don't design your drug prevention programs for high school students. You've missed it. You're too late. You've got to get it down into the elementary schools. That's really where, we're exposed to it. That's where we need the tools. That's where we need to have the curriculum. And these are high school students. giving us some very thoughtful, to me it was very enlightening testimony on a particular issue.
Jack, to the best of your ability, do you know if your colleagues are cohorts in other states, those charged with the type of responsibilities with which you were charged, get out into the field as you did? And you did it in the biggest state of all.
Yeah, I think some do. And while I thought it was really important to do the job, I was also elected, so like you. So I knew that it was kind of a twofold for me. It was good policy and good politics, and so I would go out and we'd always invite media. And so from that perspective, it was good. But one thing I didn't know, Omer, when I got elected to the state superintendent's position, every state has a state superintendent. Some are called secretaries, some are called commissioners. But of the 50 states, at the time, only 16 were elected. Today, I'm told it's 15. I don't know if you were aware of that. I thought they were all elected, and they weren't. So I think one of the benefits by being elected is, you are the independent voice for, I viewed myself as the advocate for the students. I mean, teachers are very well represented with their professional associations, administrators, school board members, the classified personnel, very well represented. Parents are very well represented. Whom did I not mention? The students.
The students.
And so that's why I always viewed myself and had a lens, let's make decisions that are in the best interest of the students.
Great. Jack, we have not much time left, but would you briefly, and I mean 20, 30 seconds, talk about the future of education to the extent you can see it here in our country?
I'm very much upbeat and optimistic. We need to make sure that our facilities are modern. They reflect the needs for our private sector, for the business sector. I'm very optimistic with the Common Core standards, the state standards that have been adopted. I'm nervous about a teacher shortage, and so we do need to do more to attract the best and the brightest amongst us to this critically important profession.
Okay, before we leave, I've already mentioned that you're a very noted consultant and speaker throughout the country. Could you provide your contact information if anyone is listening that might want to be in touch with you?
Our address in Sacramento is 925 L as in Lucky, L Street, Suite 1200, Sacramento, California, and it's 95814.
Great. All right. Well, listen, Jack, you've left a large imprint on California and indeed national education. We're honored to have you as a guest. By the way, I should mention that this program is being expanded from 1/2 hour to 1 hour as of next Friday, August 12, between 12 and 1 o'clock. But, Jack, again, honored to have you as a guest. Now go out and practice at least a basic post-up move, maybe learn to drive the lane to the left, and while you're at it, practice some free throws.
I never had any trouble going to my left.
Take care, my friend.
Senator Omer Rains, right here on America Matters Media.